Hi, I'm Mark Schuster. I'm the CEO of the Schuster Group. We are a Seattle-based real estate investment development and merchant banking firm and focused on sustainable and green building.
How do you define success?
Well, for me, I think that's a pretty simple, it's a simple answer. It comes down to our three constituents for my company, which are our investors, our customers, and our employees. So success for me is when we're successful for all three of those constituents.
Where did your inspiration come from?
I think mainly from my grandfather and my father. My grandfather, who was a prominent lawyer here in Seattle, also very involved in the community, really taught me about honor and ethics and the importance of family and closeness and working hard, and really was the person that really supported my entrepreneurial spirit. And my father taught me about giving back to the community through your behavior and actions, about how you could really make a difference by standing up for what you believe in, and also about the importance of family and being together and sticking together. The other thing that I think is the most important thing that my father taught me was about really appreciating the environment and the environment that we live in, and protecting the earth.
How did you move from idea to something actually succeeding in the market?
Well, we've been in business for 22 years now. I started the company when I was 22 years old. And so we've evolved over the years. 4 years ago, we finished really a key and monumentous project for the company called Moser Lofts. We developed the first LEED certified green high-rise residential building built in the city of Seattle. And the original idea for the building actually came from the inspiration of honoring my grandfather, who passed away when I was 22 years old, right before I started the company. And I'd always dreamed of honoring him by putting his name on a building. But I didn't have anything that was, I didn't have a project that was monumental enough until that time to do so. And so finally I had this was about an $80 million project, and I named it after him. But I also wanted to do something that was innovative and progressive, and I wanted to try and bridge the gap between the stereotypical developer, what people think of a developer, and environmentalism. And so in building a LEED certified building, I thought that would bridge the gap, and it would also bring something to the market that was really important for our customers. And the project ended up being incredibly successful. It was not only delivered on all four cylinders for our investors and our customers, our employees, who as I mentioned, have really defined success for me, but the project won more awards and recognition of any building in the country the year it was finished in 2008. So it was, this was an idea that was brewing for almost the entire length of the life of my company, that really evolved over time and became a success by kind of incorporating different components of things that I thought were important.
How did you organize your team?
Well, for referencing back to the Moser Lofts project, I think is a good basis for that, to answer that question. We did something completely unconventional as we put the team together for the project. I'll give you an example. When you're marketing a big project like this, and you're essentially selling 150 units in the air, 150 homes that are built in the air. If you imagine a a housing development, 150 homes all spread out. It's quite huge. And what we do in a high rise, we just put it in the air. So it's a big marketing effort. Most people hire a company, a marketing company that does everything. What I found is that what you get is everything that's kind of with one thought process. And I didn't want to do that for this project. It was going to be unique and special. And what I wanted to do was assemble the best minds of every kind of department or component of a marketing and sales process. So I went out and hired, the best people that would be knowledgeable in this building type in public relations, so PR, a different company for the marketing and sales, a different company for doing the copywriting for the marketing and the brochure and the website, and a different company that did the graphic design. And I put all of those people and my team in one room and said, in some cases, you're sitting next to your competitor. But these are your assigned tasks, and we're going to work together to put the most amazing marketing program that this city has ever seen so that we can communicate properly to our customers. And again, that was an incredibly successful program. We actually ended up winning an international marketing award for that campaign.
If you could have, what would you have done differently?
Well, I think for my operations of my company, I think slowing growth down during the growth phase and being more cautious probably is one thing I would look at differently. And for me as a CEO, frankly, I would have spent more time early in my career, I think, working on my own leadership skills than going with what I thought was being a leader was all about. And it was really much later in my career, in my 40s, that I really started to study and understand how I could be a much better leader to make my whole team more successful.
What makes a great entrepreneur?
For me, it's really unbridled, unsentimental individualism. It's someone that's willing to take a risk by bringing a service or a product to the market that they believe in, no matter what people say, no matter what the obstacles, and with the desire that they're going to do that to change the world, basically. And I think that's what defines entrepreneurialism.
What role did education have in your success?
Well, for me, I am a product of the public school system, which I believe very strongly in, and I work, part of my work in philanthropy is promoting education. I did not go to college. I'm one of those, rare birds that didn't go on, although if you look at a lot of successful entrepreneurs, there's a consistency there. I didn't know it at the time. I just was more interested in getting going after I was done with high school. So I've limited education. A lot of my education is basically self-taught through experience and reading. That being said, as I mentioned, I'm a big promoter of education. I think that in the world we live in today, statistically, kids are better off going to college, and I think you can't ignore those statistics. Certainly, it's not for everyone, but I think it's very, very important.
What's the most important question we did not ask you in your answer?
The most important question that I think, looking at today's business environment, is how do you build a sustainable business, particularly that can last through various economic cycles. And we've as we've seen in the last 3 years, a total collapse of the economy and credit markets and so forth and so on. So I think that it's really important to, when you're building a business, to think about something other than just growth. There's a great book called Little Giants. It's about companies that their sole goal is not growth, it's to be the best company in the business that they're in. And I share a lot of those same philosophies. We're not trying to be the biggest developer in town, never have been, but we're trying to bring legacy projects that really change the architectural skyline of our city and leave a lasting impression and create incredible sustainable environments for our customers. So I think more thought needs to be given to a fallback position. What happens if something changes? Or do we really want to be the fastest growing business company in our space? And then really spending time every year or every quarter looking at that. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges that we have with public companies today, is that it used to be that the value of stocks and the value of a company was based on the product that they were making, and now you're about as good as your last quarter and the last analyst that just rated you. And unfortunately, that's not in the best interest of the company, and not typically in the best interest long term for the shareholders. And I think it's unsustainable. I think it's part of the problem that drove the collapse that we've seen. And we've got to get back to a point where it is about the customer and it is about what we're making and it is about more innovation.